Hi there and welcome to the Wellbeing Whiz Omnicast episode 7. I can't believe it's episode 7 already. It seems to be flying by every single week. As I say every week, welcome to the Omnicast. If you're used to it, an Omnicast is something that's not a podcast. It's not on a Facebook Live. It's not a YouTube video. It's not a blog. It's all of those things in one place. I try and get it out on as many platforms as possible for people to listen to watch and to interact with as much as they can. Who am I? Well, I'm Bevan Thompson. I'm known as the Wellbeing Whiz. I'm a life coach who helps people with anxiety. The reason why I life coach anxiety is because I suffered very badly from it myself. Quite a few years back now, I had a moment that changed my life. I had a panic attack in the middle of London on the Underground. Didn't know what it was, thought I was going to die. My heart was racing. I had a dizzy head. I couldn't stand up. My palms were sweaty. I couldn't concentrate. My thoughts were confused. It was horrible. I honestly thought I was going to die. It took me a long time to realise that I wasn't going to die, that it wasn't something that was going to kill me. I didn't know what it was. I went through a lot of panic and worry about what it could be. Anything from brain hemorrhages to all sorts. I had so many crazy thoughts about what I could have until one day I started looking into it. I started looking into what I possibly could have and realised I was suffering from anxiety. I was suffering from worry. I was overthinking. My brain was working against me. I was thinking the worst in every situation possible. And it was just generally a horrible life that I led. But what I did was I managed to sort of read into the subject myself, work out what I was doing, work out it was me that was doing it. That was the worst thing. The realisation that it wasn't some sort of illness, some sort of monster that was hunting me. It was just myself that was creating anxiety. So this is why I turned to trying to help other people understand their anxiety. I studied a lot and now I'm qualified to life coach people, and I decided to specialise in this subject. That's why we're here today. Now, excuse me a minute, I'm just going to have a look at what my notes here today. Right, so today's episode, what's today's episode about? Over the last few weeks, we've looked at how our brain can work against us, how we need to make it work for ourselves, how our thoughts create our emotions, that create our actions, that create our results. So how it's all based in thought. It's very important. And if you haven't listened to these or watched them or anything, go back, because to me, thought is the sort of center of everything when it comes to anxiety. Everything starts with a thought, and that's where it all comes from. Now, this week I've decided to talk about life coaching in general and sort of talk about how coaches can work with you to make your life better. The reason I've done this is that quite a lot of people have sent a lot of questions into me, and I thought, you know what, the best thing to do is answer them all on this Omnicast, and answer them for people and sort of explain what parts of your anxiety can be helped with, what we can do with you, how we can help you, and how you can help yourself as well. You know, there'll be some tips in here that you might not need to go to a coach, which would be great. You might be able to sort of get yourself out of it by just listening to this, which would be excellent. Okay, so as usual, I've looked on the old Googles for a description. You know how I like my dictionary definitions of things. Anxiety is the definition I've looked up this week, and it's a feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease about something with an uncertain outcome. So I'll read that again. Anxiety is a feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease about something with an uncertain outcome. Now, it's very familiar, this. Every week we look at the definitions, and again, it says feeling. And what creates feeling? Thought creates feeling. We've talked about this before. And things with uncertain outcome. Again, it's the fear of the unknown. And we talked about fear in the very first episode. And it's that all comes back to this, that it's all based in the mind. It's all based in thought. Thought creates feeling. Feeling creates action. Action creates results, right? So I know I'm like a broken record about this, but it's the absolute key to conquering anything to do with anxiety and worry. It's your thoughts. Because at the end of the day, that's what's creating it, right? So, you know, as I've said before, I like to teach people to be aware of their thought. We've talked about that before. And we have to accept that the thoughts are the ones that are causing the feelings. The feelings are the ones that are making the actions, and the actions are the ones that are creating your results, right? When I work with people in coaching and coach them to manage their anxiety, we look at sort of 3 stages. We look at awareness, which is the awareness of your thoughts. You become a student of your thoughts. I've mentioned that before. You see how they come and go. You see which ones are helpful, which ones are unhelpful. We work on your thoughts to start with. That moves into an awareness phase then, where you become an acceptance phase comes after the awareness phase. And that acceptance phase, accepting that these thoughts are yours. You are the one that control these thoughts. You're the one that decide which ones to listen to and which ones not to listen to. There's no outside agency. There's no outside monster creating your anxiety. It's all coming from your own thoughts and emotions, right? And that's the acceptance part, the acceptance that it comes from you. And then following that, we move on to a third stage, which is the change stage, where I teach you how to change your thoughts, and we work how to sort of manage your anxiety from there on in, and also sort of start to look at goals and start to look at things you want to achieve in your life. So that's the process in a nutshell, just before we start talking about the questions people have asked. Now, I've got the questions written down here, so do excuse me again if you're watching it on video and I keep glancing down. The biggest question I get from anyone is, can a life coach cure my anxiety? Cure my anxiety. Now, in a word, yes. However, there is a caveat to that. You see, I don't think personally, and to be honest, I know you can't be cured of anxiety. Anxiety is an emotion, right? It's not possible to cure your emotion. I can't cure anxiety as much as I can cure happiness, sadness, frustration, any other emotion. Remember, emotions are one word things like emotion, happiness, sadness. I can't cure that, right? What I can do is help you manage that. And that's an important distinction. People think that therapists or coaches or whatever will be able to wave a magic wand, make your anxiety disappear forever. No, because it's a human thing. We are going to be anxious now and again. Like I've said before, we're hardwired from way back when we were cave people or whatever to have this fight or flight response. It's how you react to that and how you interpret that in your own mind and in your own body. So yes, I can cure the problems caused by your reaction to anxiety. I can't cure you and magically make you never anxious again. What I can do is, create a state of mind where anxiety is just another emotion. Does that make sense? Now, it's about looking at it in a different way. It's about, when you come to me or come to a coach and we talk about anxiety, it's very much about looking how you manage it. And again, the word cure probably wouldn't come into it, but you will feel cured, if that makes sense. Okay? Right. Now then, Again, I'm trying to sort of hark back to when I had anxiety and I felt sort of trapped in a prison, trapped in somewhere where I couldn't go, I couldn't go out, I couldn't think, I couldn't do my normal things. My life was, like I say, I was in a prison. And it's because it becomes a subconscious routine, right? Anxiety and panic and worry it moves from this frontal cortex that I've talked about before into your subconscious, and it becomes a normal everyday habit and routine. So to cure your anxiety is just about changing those habits. It's changing your habits and changing the subroutines in your subconscious and making you react to anxious situations or anxious thoughts in a different way. And that's how we would cure your anxiety, okay? The next big question is, how can I make my stress and anxiety go away? Well, again, it's not making it go away. Unfortunately, we are human. Humans, unfortunately, on this planet, we're going to have 50% of the time we're going to be feeling great, 50% of the time we're not. It's what you signed up for, right? At being born, I'm sorry to say, you signed up for this. Life is going to be hard in some places. It's going to be easy in some places. It's going to be happy. It's going to be sad. There's these shades, there's these black and white emotions. There's these good and bad things that happen to you all the time. What I can do and what a coach can do for you is to enable you to react properly to these situations, right? So it's not just, I can't magically wave a magic wand and make your stress and anxiety go away. What I can do is help you understand how it's affecting you and how you are reacting to it, where your triggers to your anxiety or your worry are, what the kind of thoughts you're continually thinking, what kind of habits you're into, all those sort of things a coach can look at with you, and that will then enable you to manage stress and anxiety in that way. They can't make it go away because, like I said about anxiety itself, it's an emotion. It's stressful situations are going to occur. It's how you manage them and how you are able to cope with them. That's where a coach can help you. Okay? Now, this is a good one. The more I try and improve my mental health, the worse it gets. Why? And that is an amazing question. Now, sometimes I would say that even though our intentions are good to get something solved, we put pressure on ourselves to do it. Does that make sense? So if you are anxious and you are sat there going, oh, I want to get better, you're making anxiety about curing anxiety. Does that make sense? You're putting that pressure on yourself, and you become more stressed about it, and you become more worried about whether you're going to achieve it. It becomes a bigger thing in your mind, right? So that's why people get worse if they try and do it a certain way. Make anxiety go away is probably the worst way to try and do it. Like I say, managing it is the secret. Now, by working with a coach, what a coach will do is share that load. That's very important. The responsibility of getting better is shared between the two of you, right? And also that you have that third party working with you that can look at your life from the outside, can make you question your own thoughts, can make you question your own things, can guide you through the process. And it's that shared responsibility and also that little bit of accountability that will sort of take the pressure off you. Now, also, remember the other week when we were talking about your brain working for you, right? And I said, oh, don't think of an elephant. And the first thing you think of is an elephant, right? It's just natural. Your brain's lazy. It's got routines. It will just go and do the same thing. If you tell your brain, I want to cure my anxiety, I don't want to be anxious anymore, all you're thinking about is anxiety. All you're thinking about is it's not looking at I don't want or I do want. It's just hearing the word anxiety and bang, delivering more of the same for you. And that's a really big important thing. It's if you start working with a coach or you start working with someone like me, we'll look at how to stop that happening. How to look at things a different way, through a different lens, to stop the situation where your brain immediately goes into that anxiety routine. So yeah, people have tried to improve their mental health through very, very, very varied things, varied reasons, and they've not achieved it because it's almost creating more anxiety. But working with a coach, as I say, the responsibility is shared, and you'll be able to work together towards getting it sorted. This is my favourite question. This is the one I love. Will you not just think I'm crazy? Someone asked me once. Which is, it's an interesting question. I mean, coaches see people all the time. I work with people with anxiety all the time. I had anxiety myself. I've been there. So no, I won't for a second think you're crazy, and a coach won't for a second think you're crazy. They won't belittle anything. This is not what they're about. They've been there, they bought the t-shirt. Most coaches who help in a particular niche, anxiety being this one, have probably experienced themselves, I would say, because, do you know what? It's easier to talk about a topic that you're aware of and a topic that you understand. And actually, it drives you to help people get out of it because you've been there. Now, the number of times in sessions where someone will say to me, I do this, I do that. And I'll finish the sentence for them and say, and then you do that, don't you? And they're like, wow, how do you know that? It's because I've been there. My brain has been in exactly the same place as theirs. And that's the thing. No one is going to think you're crazy. No one. I promise you that. And I've thought all the craziest thoughts I could possibly think. I promise you. There's nothing that I'll be surprised at. And a good coach, will make sure that rapport is there, that relationship's there, and you won't feel belittled, you won't feel laughed at, you won't feel like a crazy person, because you're not. It's perfectly natural. It's just an emotion that's got too big in your own system, and you're just, you're in a habit. The next question, this is a good one. Why do I feel like this? I'm usually really strong and in control. And this is a really great question, because one of my biggest rules in my session is don't beat yourself up about it. It is a natural thing. It's just happened. Your thoughts have got out of control. Do not beat yourself up. In fact, anxiety and stress can happen to anyone, from the richest person, the poorest person, the most talented person, the most famous person, whatever. Anxiety can happen to everyone. You'd be surprised that people were very surprised that I was anxious. I'm the most chatty, noisy, outgoing. I play in bands. People were amazed that I was anxious. But when I told them, they were so surprised. It's like, just wasn't. So it can happen to anyone. And sometimes it can be worse if you're someone who's usually stronger or in control, because it's such a massive shift between you being normally this person that's in total control and being someone who isn't now, and whose brain is confused and you feel out of control. So that leap is bigger, so it can have a bigger effect on you, actually. So bear that in mind. And you see, once you own up to these feelings, it's that sort of, oh, I'm strong and I shouldn't be like this. That's not accepting it. That's pushing back against it. And like I said at the top of this, we work on accepting it. We work on being aware of it and accepting it. And pushing back against it and saying, I'm usually strong, this shouldn't be happening to me, is actually making it worse. So again, that's something a coach would work with you on. And that's a really good question. How do I know if coaching will help me? Well, that's a great question. I love these questions. They're brilliant. And, they really throw up the reasons why I do this. If you find the right coach for you, and that's the important thing. I'm not saying, come to me, I'm the greatest coach in the world. I'm saying I can help you. I may not be the right coach for you, but if you find the right coach for you and you build that rapport and you build that thing, a coach can help you with many, many, many things, not just anxiety. Make sure you're with someone who understands you and where you're coming from, understands, and like I said, has been there and done it is a damn good start. Someone who's happy to listen to what you say, someone who's happy to sort of take on, rather than someone who's trying to make a quick buck out of you. That's really important. It's very good to spend, a lot of coaches do a free 30-minute session. I do. Spend 30 minutes with the coach, have a chat with them about what you do in the program, about how it could help you in particular. That's a real good way of not spending any money and getting some free tips. And, I have people come in my 30-minute sessions I chat to, never chat to them again. They go away perfectly happy because I've given them enough in that 30 minutes. And you know what? That's great. Because if I'd have known that was out there when I was struggling, that'd have been excellent. And I wouldn't have minded, I don't mind people getting free advice. This is why I do this. But if you do chat to a coach, make sure you feel comfortable with them, and that's how they'll help you. It's you'll know if they can help you by that rapport building session with them anyway. Okay, the big question: how long will it take to overcome my stress and anxiety? How long will it take? Surprisingly, I suggest between 4 and 5 sessions. That's 4 or 5 hours chatting over Zoom, over the phone, however. Even people who think they're going to be anxious forever, this is how it's going to be, they've always been like this. When they start looking at actually how it comes about, living in the moment, doing the stuff, doing the work with me, doing the work with themselves at home, it can happen very quickly. And like I say, 4 to 5 sessions, you can manage the majority of situations. And that's incredible. If someone had said that to me, like I say, way back when, spend 5 hours on this, it'll be gone, I'd have took the hand off. But so yes, the key is, for me, the key is not how long, but when you're going to start. Talk to someone about it now. If you are feeling anxious, you're feeling worried, I know how horrible it is. I know where you are. You feel like you're at the bottom. You feel like no one knows how you're feeling. No one can have anxiety like you. It's the worst thing in the world. I know all that. I've been there, right? But please talk to someone. Even if you can't afford to spend time with a coach, have a free half an hour with a coach, because you might as well. And you will learn something on that call. Watch these Omnicasts. But most importantly, talk to someone. Even if it's your partner, your best friend, someone at work, tell them how you're feeling. Because actually getting it out there, a lot of people say, oh yeah, I feel like that about a lot of things. And all of a sudden, you start to feel less and less alone. And that's hugely important. And then if you're feeling confident enough to chat to a coach, then go ahead and do it. But yeah, start now. Talk to someone now. That is the big thing. Doesn't matter how long it's going to take. You talk to someone now. Anyway, I usually give homework at the end of the episode based on it. And today, the homework's a bit different. If you are suffering, you're feeling a bit anxious, you're worried about things, and we are in a world at the moment that everyone's worried about something. Try, and like I say, talk to someone, explain it to someone, whether it's your partner, whether it's like a friend or someone. And if not, come on my Facebook page, come on my website, www.thewellbeingwiz.com, and book a 30-minute session with me and talk to me. It's completely free. And, I'll try and help you out. If not, look back through these Omnicasts, come onto my website, look at the few blogs I've got on there as well. Just start a process of change today. That's your homework. Start a process of change. Be it little or big, just start the process of change. Now, a good way of starting that is go to my website and download my free ebook. That's Calm Mind. So if you go to www.thewellbeingwiz.com/calm mind, that's www.thewellbeingwiz.com/calm mind. Download the ebook there. That's got a load of great stuff on how to manage your thoughts, how to, a few exercises in there to help you. And just like I say, this week's been more about how a coach can help you. We'll go back to more theory in the coming weeks and sort of practical things, but I wanted to answer a lot of the questions I've been getting. So I hope it's been helpful. Like I say, come and have a chat with me or have a chat with someone. But your homework this week is please just make a start. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you next week.